Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scottie B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scottie B. This work. Hey, let's go. This work. My bad.
What's up, man?
What's going on? This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scottie B, man. How's everything been going, man?
Everything is everything. Let's get some horns up in here real quick. You know what I mean? What's going on, man? It's been a week. You know, my birthday just passed.
Yeah, happy belated, man. Happy belated.
I mean, you were there, so you know.
We still, you still.
I literally saw you on my birthday, but it's cool. It's cool. Nah, yeah, it was cool, man. You know, the text I've been getting the last 2 days, like, do you feel 40 yet? Like, no. How is 40 supposed to feel? I don't know. I feel the same. I don't. You know, it is what it is. You know.
So I got a couple of things I got to talk about. First of all, my family, my aunt, you're in my prayers. She lost her husband yesterday, and then my mother lost her sister-in-law yesterday as well. So definitely keep us in your prayers or whatnot. On the brighter side, I heard some good news about your family. Your nephew, man, number 13th ranked player in New Jersey, or
no, he's number 8 in New Jersey.
No, number 8 in New Jersey.
He's number 8 in New Jersey. This year overall, at his position, he's number 2. As a junior. So and he committed to Notre Dame. So we're gonna have him on the show. Actually, he was actually the first guest on Off the Record when we started.
I was gonna say that. I remember when.
Oh, he remembers too.
Yeah, he was. One of my friends made a joke. He was like, "Look, man, I gotta get some more listeners, man." He said, "If nephew call up to the show one more time, man."
He would text me, but it was a special moment, man, when he made his commitment and chose Notre Dame, which I ain't gonna say I knew, but we talked, but it was nice, man, to see how happy he was, and my sister, my brother-in-law, and his brothers. It was amazing, and all the family was there. It was really cool to see, and I was like, growing up, I've been a Michigan fan, and you know how the Michigan Notre Dame rivalry is, So I don't even know if they're gonna play Michigan while he's there, but I mean, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to root for Notre Dame. At least those 4 years, at least. And you know what? Going further, because just like with Kentucky, I feel like you've done something for these young men that anybody could have done. So I will always root for Kentucky basketball. I still root for Michigan basketball. I still root for Michigan football. But I will always, going forward, I will root for Notre Dame football because, you're giving, especially somebody in my family, an opportunity to do something that a lot of people don't get to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's play at the highest of highest levels and then go on possibly to the next level, and that we all dream of as kids. So, it ain't that. I guess that beef to me is dead now with Notre Dame. So it is what it is.
It's a testament to him being the athlete that he is. But what's more impressive too is what a student he is. I think
Absolutely.
somebody was either your sister or yourself was telling me like he's an honor roll student, and
National Honor
he's
Society.
National Honor Society. I mean, that's huge, man. So just shout out to him for all his hard work. He's listening.
Get horns?
Yeah, he gets horns. Gets horns.
Let's get this man some horns, man. So yeah, man. But let's get to football. We want to go football. Or you want to go basketball?
Let's go football.
I don't even know.
Let's talk some football.
All right, let's go football. So you want Hard Knocks? They've had 2 episodes. I think on the 3rd episode is going to show this week. What are your thoughts?
You know what? I like it. For me not to be a Cowboys fan, I like what I'm seeing. The last couple of years of Hard Knocks, I didn't really care for the LA Rams and the Chargers one.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one was a little slow, kind of drug out a little bit. I believe the year before, who was the year before?
The Browns, I think it was the Browns.
Yeah, it might have been the Browns. That was a decent one. Yeah. But this one, I just like what I'm seeing out of training camp. I'm not saying that they're going to be a Super Bowl team, but I think that Dak Prescott, even though he's been hurt, when he's been in there, he just looks good. I know I've been very critical of Zeke, so just to see him rededicate himself to being a football player, that's refreshing. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, that guy is going to be a stud this year. Yeah. And you guys, his first-round draft pick, the middle linebacker,
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons is a man. He's a boy, but he is a man on that football field amongst
it's crazy.
Boys.
Like, and everybody realizes how fast that guy is. Like, I mean, what is he, 21, 22? But I mean, and you can tell that he just loves football and he just wants to play. He was begging to play that Hall of Fame game, which, come on, man. But that's a good thing to see. Like, as a fan, that is something that I would want to see because, like, man, he wasn't getting that before. It was just like, these guys are just there. You know what I'm saying? He actually is like a football player. He just wants to play football.
So let me ask you this. This is what does stick out. So that was the accolades. Mm-hmm. I'm watching Mike McCarthy, and I still don't see it. Now, if he has a good season, all is forgotten. But if the Cowboys don't have success this year, he's got to go. He got to go, and they've got to bring in the right fit because that team has a wealth of it, like this talent. They had a ton of injuries last year, so they're getting everybody back. And then I feel like they had a pretty strong draft class. So aside from the expectations always being there for the Cowboys, this year it is no excuses, and it has to the responsibility has got to fall on the coach this year. I feel like the GM and Jerry Jones have done what they can to put together a really good roster that being 8-8 or even being 9-7 is or even a first round exit is not going to be acceptable for that coach.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question is what is successful? Is it just getting to the playoffs? Because I don't think so. I think my bar, me personally, as a Cowboy, and it's not as a Cowboys fan. I'm looking at the schedule I'm at 12-5. I think that I feel like the Cowboys that have a top 5 offense, honestly, they should have a top 3 offense and in the middle of the pack defense, anywhere 15 and above, right? That's around middle of the pack. And I think that with Dan Quinn, I think we look at Dan Quinn as a head coach and say, man, you weren't that great as a head coach. But you look at what he did. When he got to Seattle, the Seahawks defense was but they got better every single year. he goes to Atlanta. Atlanta, their defense was worse than the Cowboys' defense last year, and you can see they was turning around defensively. Now they had injuries and things of that nature, and they just weren't winning. But I feel like the pieces that were drafted, the pieces that were returning, and some of the pieces that they picked up, that defense definitely isn't a 32nd or 31st ranked defense. That should be 15, 16, 17 at the least. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how the season goes, I don't want to say a top 10 defense, but you will have a really good defense. And I think that Micah Parsons will be the biggest reason for that. If Jalen Smith could get back to what he was even 2 years ago, and Van Der Esch could get to what he was before he got injured, I mean that's a hell of a linebacking core, you know.
Yeah, on paper, and I know we say this jokingly every year about the Cowboys, but legitimately, I look at that team on paper and I say, you know what? They should have no problems being 12-5. If they are not 12-5, then I've got to look at the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you hold you players accountable to an extent,
right?
But I think any coach worth anything should be able to go in there and at least have a winning season and at least turn that into at least one playoff victory and build on that.
Right.
And Mike McCarthy, what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm wrong a little bit, and like I said, this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Jason Garrett still has his thumbprint on that team. I don't know if it's because it's Dak and it's Ezekiel Elliott or anything like that, but it feels like Mike McCarthy, because he didn't really assemble that team and he hasn't really he hasn't put a signature on it. You know what I mean? Like you talk about the Skins, right? And you look at like Ron Rivera. You're starting to see how, or I keep Skins, the football team. I don't want to get a suit or anything, but you look at the football team and you see that they're starting to adapt Ron Rivera's like personality. You know what I mean? You're starting to even see it with my 49ers to where it looks like a Shanahan team. You know, you can see the coach's imprint on it. Now, in fairness, Shanahan has been there a lot longer than Mike McCarthy, but I would have thought, you know, watching Hard Knocks, that his imprint would have been there a little bit more. He almost reminds me of this may be a compliment, like a Wade Phillips. Like I never felt like when Wade Phillips was the coach of the Cowboys, that was his signature team. Like I felt more like he just kind of fell in place with that team a little bit.
Almost like he was a placeholder.
Correct.
And Mike McCarthy may be a placeholder for Kellen Moore. I mean, it may be the same exact thing. It may be Kellen Moore may be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll see. We'll see. But I see exactly what you're saying. I like the way he's carrying himself. Will he be Bill Parcells? No. Will he be Bill Belichick? No. But I think you do have to respect that he had a ton of winning seasons in Green Bay. And I know you can say, yeah, he had Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, it takes more than just having a quarterback and a coach, you know. So I think that you know, he was at the helm for all of those guys. I mean, for all of those teams. I mean, let's see what happens this year. I mean, there's no COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I definitely see where you're coming from. I am excited about this season as a fan. I know there's people saying, why is the Cowboys on Hard Knocks? But if you had to choose between the Cowboys and the 4 or 5 other teams that they could have chose, you would choose the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? And but speaking of camp, there's been a lot of fights the last couple of weeks in camp. I mean, these are not like your regular football fights. These are like you squaring up and you swinging. It's been disturbing. I mean, because the football fight, when you suited up, you just grabbing, you tussling and whatever. I get that, but when you like got your helmet off and you throwing like haymakers, I think that's when it gets a little bit different.
I think it's all been really good. I mean, I hate to say it that it's never really good when a fight breaks out, but I think we're just seeing like the ramifications of not having a true camp last year, and you're seeing guys that are just giving it all. I mean, the preseason's been pretty good. Who have you? Okay. So the talk of the preseason is you got the quarterbacks, right? The rookie class of the quarterbacks, and they've all gotten the opportunity to play a little bit. Who have you been most impressed with?
I've been most impressed with Justin Fields. I say if I have to rate him right now, I got Justin Fields. Just as far as like what I've been seeing from him. Not saying how it's going to turn out in the regular season or their careers. Just from what I've seen, I got Justin Fields. I got I think Trey Lance and Zach Wilson are like neck and neck, right? They're both playing outstanding, but I will put Zach Wilson ahead of Trey Lance by a smidge, just because Zach Wilson has gotten more of an opportunity than he's gotten more reps than Trey Lance. And then I will go Sunshine, and then and who am I missing? And then Mac Jones has been really good. They all been really good in the preseason. They all five of them have been really good this preseason. But if I had to go, you know what? I would put Mac Jones again ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, and it's not Trevor Lawrence's fault. That team is not going to be ready. Losing Travis Etienne it was already an uphill climb. That mountain got a little steeper. Huh?
So let me ask you this, and this is just an opinion that I got from watching the game. Do you sit Trevor Lawrence at the beginning of the season and let them get some pieces? Now you play him?
Absolutely. Trevor Lawrence is probably still going to win Rookie of the Year. I think Trevor Lawrence is still going to have a good year. The team is going to stink, but I feel like his rookie year. So Andrew Luck got a little lucky, right? As crazy as that sounds, he got drafted by Indianapolis, but they had pieces, when his rookie year. They just didn't have Peyton Manning. He got hurt. But I think that he can have a Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck type of what's the guy from Justin Herbert type of rookie year. I don't think anybody will be surprised. Well, you know what? I stand corrected. I think people will be surprised if he has a rookie season like Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck, or Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning threw a ton of interceptions his first year. I want to say he led the league in interceptions, but he has that ability to do that. And I know him and Zach Wilson are the clear-cut starters, coming into game one. I mean, they could say sit him, or people could say sit him, but nah, they Urban Meyer be getting ready to sign his walking papers if he doesn't start Trevor Lawrence game one.
So it's interesting, right? Because I think that's the clear consensus that both guys do start. But what about Trey Lance and Justin Fields? Do you think the teams are going to get it right with letting them sit and come in, or do you think that they should have the opportunity to start?
Well, those are different situations, because those are two like playoff ready teams, right? And I think that the 49ers starting, if they were to start Trey Lance, there's no guarantee that he'll take them over the edge. We know that if Garoppolo is healthy, the 49ers more times than not are going to win. Like it is whether you like his game or not. When he's started the games, they've won a lot of them. So that's why I feel like it's good to start Garoppolo, because Garoppolo's not a bad quarterback. I just think that he doesn't really have the confidence. There's a few things that's working against him. His injury history, Maybe the coach losing a little bit of confidence in them, and them drafting a quarterback in the top 3 picks. So those 3 work against them. Justin Fields, the Bears were a playoff team last year, right? With Mitchell Trubisky, and Mitchell Trubisky is an example of somebody who didn't have confidence, who had lost all of his confidence. So with Justin Fields, as he might be the better answer, right? But I agree with starting Andy Dalton. For however many games, if he screws up in the beginning, then you get rid of him. Not get rid of him, but you put him on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And let him know. You know what I'm saying? And I think they should let him know. But that was a playoff team. They didn't lose a lot, and they gained some pieces. You know, so Justin Fields is the future. And once Justin Fields starts for the Chicago Bears, he's actually the best quarterback that they've had in the history of the Chicago Bears. But I don't feel like they need to rush that. I mean, that hit that he took on Saturday was scary. Like I was literally watching that and was like, oh my gosh. But he got right back up. And
yeah, it's like you remember that clip that they used to say he got jacked up. You remember that? Yo, I saw that. I was like, wow.
It was crazy. And you know what's crazy? Like 10 years ago, that ref wouldn't have threw that flag.
Oh no.
One because he was a rookie. And go ahead.
No, I mean when the helmet came off, it was just kind of like, ooh, like, man. It's like this is ugly. All right, so your boy Tua, have you been impressed?
Look, he's been playing good. And I know you don't want to say that. I know you don't want to say that.
I have to say it. I have to say it. He's been playing. He's. I mean, it's preseason, so it's early, but he's showing all the right signs that he's taking the next step. I mean, I've been impressed. I can't lie. He's making all the throws. He seems to be healthier.
Right.
I don't want to say he's got weapons, but I can see that.
He's got what? Miami has weapons, man.
Yeah, I can see that Miami team coming alive. That Miami team, I mean, they were this close last year. So if they get solid quarterback play from him, they're a scary team to look out for.
They added what's the Will Fuller to the Parker and the other guy. I look, man.
Yeah, Will Fuller only got a 2-game suspension. Will Fuller gonna be back before
exactly
you even know it.
Man, look, he'll be back.
Yeah, that was a steal. That was a steal getting Will Fuller.
Look, and so AFC East better watch out for Miami. I think so, and I'm not gonna say Buffalo's gonna take a step back because Buffalo looked good the other day. But I will say they better watch out for New England and they better watch out for Miami.
Okay, so let's go back to New England for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Cam Newton, Mac Jones. Cam Newton's in the COVID-19 protocol. Yeah. You think he's going to play Thursday?
No. He's not going to play Thursday, but he doesn't need to.
Does that hurt his opportunity for starting?
No. Cam Newton is going to be the day one starter, and he's going to start the whole season. Mac Jones may play sparingly. He'll probably come in if it's a blowout, come in and take a knee or two. But Cam Newton, at least this year, is the starter. And maybe even next year.
So let me ask you this. Do you think Cam Newton looked better this year
than he did last year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. He looks more comfortable. And I'm telling you, having camp and having like a regular offseason, you can tell that these guys had a regular offseason or somewhat regular offseason. And Cam, he looks more comfortable. He looks looser. He's always had an accuracy issue, right? But I mean, the other day, he has a better I'm about to say field goal percentage. He has a better completion percentage than Mac Jones does. So he's doing something right. And yeah, he's definitely going to be a day one. He's going to be game one starter. He's going to open the season as a starter.
Are you buying Jameis Winston?
Yes, I'm buying it.
You buying him?
I'm buying. I'm buying him. And I don't want to say too much more because we got a fantasy draft next week.
No. He looks good. And I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I was looking at some of his weapons that he has, and he was able to get the ball. Look, if he could just so here's the problem with Jameis Winston, right? And this has been the problem throughout his career. His play doesn't match his mouth. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of times he talks a good game, but he doesn't necessarily go out there and do what he's capable of. I think for the first time in his career that at least I'm looking at, he looks legit. He looks like he's him sitting down for a year and learning from Drew Brees and allowing himself to be coached and going to the right opportunity might have done him well. He looks relaxed out there. He looks like the game is finally slowed down. He doesn't look like he's trying to rush things or trying to just make throws that he shouldn't make or try to make something out of nothing. He's starting to take what the defense gives him and take his shots whenever he needs to take his shots. And he looks good. He looks good.
So Jameis is first of all, I think I don't think it was much of a quarterback competition as people think, like what they trying to make it seem. I think what Sean Payton did was use Taysom Hill to push Jameis, right? He made it see that, you know, the media. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints pushed out to the media like Taysom Hill may be the number one, and in turn helped push Jameis, right? Because I don't care what anybody say, Jameis Winston is a way better quarterback than Taysom Hill. It's not even close, and I feel like Sean Payton doing that helped Jameis. I think even last year when Drew Brees was hurt and him starting Taysom Hill, pretty much that whole time, was a good thing, like you said, for Jameis. Like, he got to sit, he got to learn the system. He didn't have the pressure of leading the franchise at that time, right? He ultimately got humbled because, he was expecting a big payday and it didn't come. Let's not forget, just 2 years ago, this guy led the league in passing yards. He had 31 or 32 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, but who gives it? Who cares? I mean, ultimately the teams care, but this guy has the ability. We've all seen it. We're not blind. We know this guy has the ability. So no one can say that he sucks. The main thing you can say is he threw too many damn interceptions. But Peyton Manning threw a lot of interceptions his first 5 years. Eli Manning threw a whole lot of interceptions. Brett Favre threw a lot of interceptions. So who cares? Who cares? Now, can he get you the wins? And that's where we're going to see how good or bad Jameis Winston really is. I believe that this year he could possibly make a Pro Bowl, man. Sean Payton knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. So
this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard out of the New Orleans camp. I've heard that promises were made to Taysom Hill for him to stay a Saint. And it was a lot of money invested in him. I don't remember his salary right off the bat, but I think it was upward of $10 million. And so one of his contingencies to stand in New Orleans was for him to get a legit shot at being the possible starter once Drew Brees retired. So Sean Payton kept that promise to him and gave him the opportunity. What I see, and they talked about it on the game, is that he'll more than likely be with the team, but probably not in a quarterback fashion. They're pretty high up on the other two quarterbacks, so they'll go back to using him in a slash type role like they used him, and then Jameis Winston is the starter. And
I mean,
will be the starter.
Yeah, they gave him like $140 million contract extension, but like all of the years are like voidable.
Okay.
It was one of those things. So I understand that, and I get that. I think that he does so many other things. He can play special teams. He can play H-back. He can play receiver, tight end. He could go to running back. He can play quarterback. So he holds a lot of value for that team. He's their Swiss Army knife. So yeah, I mean, you look at it and you got a guy who can do all of those things, but Jameis is going to be the quarterback. He's going to be the starter. He's probably going to play himself into a lot of money. He can possibly play himself into a lot of money, whether it's with the Saints or the Giants next year. No, I'm sorry, or another team, So yeah, man. So matter of fact, let's get to the winner of the week. Let's get to the winner of the week and go from there.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right. So speaking of playing yourself out of some money, my winner of the week this week is Dennis Schroeder. He is a clear example of when betting on yourself goes wrong. If you haven't heard, he had declined the option for 4 years, $84 million by the Lakers, and he ended up with a 1 year, $5.79 million contract from the Celtics. And I mean, it's unfortunate that had to happen to him, but my God, what was he thinking? And just for all that, man, I pray to God he has an all-star caliber weekend. I mean, not weekend, but year to where he can get that money back and recoup it. But for right now, until that happens, you are definitely my winner of the week. What are your thoughts on that? I've been saving that. I've been saving that one.
So it's not funny, man. It's not funny, but yo, man. So Dennis Schroeder won Sixth Man of the Year 2 years ago. He signed a deal with the Lakers. And I guess it was like mid-season or whatever, they offered him that extension. And a lot of people probably were saying, take that, John. I guess he wanted like $100 million or what. And he probably had the worst possible playoffs you can have for somebody in a contract year. Like, I mean, he had games where he was scoreless in the playoffs. And it was bad, man. And it's very unfortunate. That's tough, man. Because when you see guys
in the market for him, when
you see guys that didn't have the I guess the accolades that he has or had, getting bread, and I know. So here's the thing: somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. Whether it's his agent, whether it's him, whether it's the people around him. He might have to just fire somebody just for the sake of firing somebody because of this epic fail. This is like an epic fail of epic fail proportions. It is terrible.
Look, he'd have been better off. He'd have been better off with me just sitting out the year, just saying, you know what, y'all call me when the injuries come or somebody gonna get desperate and somebody's gonna want my services. Y'all gotta holler at me. I'll be in shape, and just go from there. I don't see him
$80 million. He'll never get that money again. Even if he gets $100 million contract next year, he'll never make up $80 million.
He has to ball. I don't think he's capable of making up that $80 million.
No, because isn't Rozier in Boston? Rozier's in Charlotte. I'm sorry.
He's in Charlotte.
Yeah. but they just gave Marcus Smart an extension. You still got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. There's no way possible on that team for him to make up the money that he just lost. It's absolutely how? Because Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Tatum. So with those three guys, how do you expect to make up that money? I think they just gave Robert Williams some money, and then you're gonna have Grant Williams that's about to he's about to come up on his contract is about to be up, so he's gonna be wanting some money. There's no way possible that Dennis Schroeder is gonna make up that money, and he is going to be kicking himself for a very, very long time.
Oh, he kicking himself now. I mean, he might be at home trying to play it off like it doesn't affect him, but yeah, he's kicking himself. He's got to be kicking himself. And yeah, you're right. My entire inner circle goes. Matter of fact, if I turn down that much money, I quit talking to my mama. You know what I mean? Like, I quit talking to everybody. You wouldn't even find me. Matter of fact, I would live in the gym with no phone because I don't want to see anything on social media. I don't want to see anything. But yeah, man, I couldn't believe that, man, when I heard it.
And it's unfortunate, man, because he is a good player, right? He is a good player, and I think he's a great six man, and as a six man, if you're gonna get $84 million extension as a six man, why not take that?
Right.
Why not take it? You know what I'm saying? But hey man, he blew it, and it is what it is. So we're gonna get a full NBA season this year. I know it's football, but we got some matchups. Of course, Christmas. You got the Nets and the Lakers. Well, let's go back. Let's go back a second. The NBA has released the full schedule, and you got Nets Lakers on Christmas in LA. So who's your favorite coming out of the East and the West this year? The same as last year. Go ahead and say it, Scott. The same as last year.
Yeah, I got Brooklyn going against
the Lakers.
Yeah.
All right.
I think everybody will be healthy, and it'll be everything that we thought it was going to be this year.
They just took a year off, right? Tried to give everybody a chance. Tried to get, Giannis got his chip, but I wouldn't sleep on the Bucks because again, when you get that. Learn how to win, and you pretty much bringing all your guys back. Things are a little different. You know what I'm saying? They know what it's like to reach the mountaintop. So I wouldn't sleep on them. But with that being said, Brooklyn Lakers. And listen. I wouldn't count the Lakers. There's a lot of people counting the Lakers out, man. And I wouldn't just like count them out. Just like it's the battle of the X's, man. So
I got a question for you though.
What's up?
This kind of came up and is off topic. So Dave Justice, and I've been thinking about this a lot, said that Ohtani, and we all know he's probably going to be the MVP this year. He leads the major leagues. He's got 40 home runs. He's got an ERA of 2.79. I believe he's got 9 wins. He's got a complete game. He said that he feels that he's better than Babe Ruth because Babe Ruth was playing against farmers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that is a huge statement.
Yeah, he said no disrespect. Yeah, he said no disrespect to Babe Ruth. He's just showing Ohtani his love.
So I need to compare this. You know what? I'm with him. He's better than Babe Ruth, man. Babe Ruth wasn't pitching when he hit all them home runs, man.
So here was his argument. He said the level of competition was a lot different than it is now. Babe Ruth did not play against any of the Negro players. He did not play against any of the Asians, and he didn't play against any of the Latin players.
So he was playing against. So he's saying Babe Ruth was playing against truck drivers,
truck drivers and farmers.
Truck drivers, farmers.
Hey, that's where he was going. That's where he was going, man. That's where he was going. He's pitching against.
He wasn't even playing against the Negro League.
Nah, he's pitching against the guy down the street that works at the factory. Like he was going there. It's a legitimate argument.
It's an argument, but
so okay.
The competition is a lot better now.
Okay.
Technology is a lot better now. Technology plays a part because the baseballs are made different, the bats are made different. The jerseys and the equipment are made different as well. Man, I don't know, man. That's still tough. Babe Ruth, jeez.
Well, okay. So let's put something in perspective too. Mm-hmm. And this is the age-old argument of why you can't compare the times.
Right.
He dominated who he played against, and that's a fair statement, right? Babe Ruth dominated the players that of his time. You know, he can't help it. He was the best of the best, and technology is advanced, and
right.
You know, training and the world is caught up to baseball as a sport where they're more competitive. Like that's none of that stuff is his fault. But I guess the bigger argument is not that Ohtani is a better player, but is it more impressive what he's doing now opposed to what Babe Ruth was able to do when he pitched and he hit?
Yes.
I will say yes on that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody else could correct me if I'm wrong. Babe Ruth wasn't the only one that was pitching and hitting, right? I think I don't even think they had a DH back then. So all the pitchers were pitching and hitting. Babe Ruth at that time just did it better than everybody.
Right.
You don't really have anybody like pitchers that hit don't really hit. And if they hit,
right,
they don't hit every day. They're not in the lineup every day. So man, I mean the fact that he's playing every single day, you know, is amazing. The one thing I will say though, Babe Ruth was winning. They were winning baseball games. I'm not, what is it, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim? I don't even know if they're gonna make the playoffs.
What's always puzzled me with them, and I've got to take a deeper dive into the roster, is it feels like for the past decade, they've had at least one of the arguably the best players on their team. You know, if it's not Pujols when he was dominant, you know, you got Trout now, you got Ohtani, you know, you have all these superstars, but for whatever reason, you could just never get it done. Never get it done. I mean, arguably, they've got two of the best players. I believe Trout's still he's hurt, but they've got two of the biggest generational players on the same team, and it's like they can't figure out how to get to the playoffs ever. I mean, a lot of people go ahead.
No, I'm saying, well, they dog in the Baltimore Orioles, so. But I mean, that ain't saying much.
Yeah,
but
the Orioles are on a terrible skid, man.
Yeah, but I honestly don't get it. Like, you're right. You got Mike Trout can easily go down as one of the greatest players ever. But he probably won't because he can't win. He might still go down as one of the best ever, but they can't win.
Yeah, but hardly ever anybody sees him. I mean, like
Right.
When you watch him, you feel like you're watching greatness, but he's never on the biggest stage. And, it leaves the door open for guys to make the argument, is Mookie Betts a better player? Or, some of the other names that they thrown out there, because those guys have consistently been on the bigger stage to where, they've gotten that platform. And, in sports, I mean, we say it even with like in football, it would be unheard of for anybody to put a quarterback and say that they were the top quarterback of all time and they don't have no playoff wins or they're never in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, we hold those quarterbacks to, just crazy expectations. Like, my favorite, and I've had to at least respect them a little bit more, is like Tony Romo. I mean, you go back and you look at Tony Romo's stats and you say, yeah, he was pretty decent quarterback statistically, but he was consistently judged on the fact that he didn't come up big in the big moments.
Right.
And, I think, and I know this would be a different opinion, I think that that's ultimately, if he doesn't go into the Hall of Fame, that's what's going to hold him back. That's what people are going to point to, is that he didn't win in the big moments. So you got, and I guess Tony Romo's a bad comparison because I can't compare Tony Romo to Mike Trout. That's even unfair.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of another.
But I know what you're saying. I mean, you could use Dan Marino as a good good comparison, because Dan Marino, yes, he got to the Super Bowl once, but Dan Marino, he never got back again. He had all these stats, and he was one of the best players in the league, but he would never go down as the best quarterback of all time. You even in his era, because even Elway ended up getting those 2 rings. You had Montana right there winning 4 Super Bowls. And yeah,
so let's stay there for a second. Is Marino a top 10 quarterback?
Absolutely.
In your opinion?
Absolutely. Top 10? Yeah. I mean, he retired he retired as the all-time leader in passing yards.
Well, he's a top 10 quarterback for me too. But what I always wonder is, because in football we do this a lot, is we always say, okay, you're measured by the amount of Super Bowl rings you have,
which is unfair.
So it is unfair, but I think that's become the barometer of even more important than sometimes like how many touchdowns you got or how many passing yards you got. People will point to, okay, did you at least get 1 ring? You know what I mean? Then if you got 2 rings, like I get seriously see somebody making the argument that Big Ben should be over Dan Marino because he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Man, who said that?
I'm just saying, like, okay, I'll give you a worse argument. It's no different than why we still even let Eli Manning be in. I mean, Eli Manning can never be in the top 10 conversation, but people put Eli Manning, like they bring him into the conversation, and it's because of those 2 Super Bowl rings.
You trying to piss me off today?
Because you can't compare Dan Marino and Eli Manning, but people
I'll say
that Eli Manning is good because he's got 2 he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
And most people won't agree with me, but Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Eli Manning. See what I see? See, I told you. Tony Romo is a better quarterback. Tony Romo does everything better than Eli Manning. He just didn't have the D line that Eli Manning had. He had better weapons. But, man, listen.
Eli Manning had better weapons than Tony Romo?
No. But Tony Romo didn't have the D line. Listen, the D line that the Giants had on those 2 Super Bowl teams didn't even have to blitz Tom Brady. They didn't have to blitz Tom Brady, and they got pressure with 4 people.
So
It was
look,
4-5, sometimes
I like
4-6.
I like Tony Romo. He did his thing. I even like him more as a commentator. He's made me like him.
He's amazing.
He's a good. The Sketcher commercials. I never get a pair of Skechers, but it is what it is. He does a good job marketing those. But you cannot tell me if Tony Romo was on those Giants teams that they still would have won the Super Bowl.
They would have won them easier because they would have had better records. They would have had better records. They would have had better records. Tony Romo was all right. I'm about to do a comparison because listen, man. See, everybody wants to just throw Super Bowl. Oh, he won. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning also led the league in interceptions 5 years of his career. I'm just saying, man.
It's a tough argument.
Take
right?
away.
So this is where I'm at with it, and I guess this kind of muddies the water a little bit more.
Muddy the water, damn it.
If I need a fantasy quarterback, I look Tony Romo's way. Oh. If I need a quarterback in real life, I go Eli Manning. Like if I got to drop a quarterback in a fantasy league, Eli Manning and Tony Romo is there, I go Tony Romo. If I need a leader and I'm trying to bet on somebody in the playoffs, then I got to go Eli.
Hey, all right, so check this out, man. And I'll get to the playoffs stuff too. Man, yo. So Eli Manning played in more games. Right, he played in almost 100 more games. You want to know what Eli? I'm sure you know what Eli Manning's record was as a starter.
His record was. Go ahead though, say it.
117 and 117. That was his record as a starter, and I think he got that last win against the Eagles. You know what Eli Manning's record was as a starter? 78 and 49. That's damn good. Right? He had a higher completion percentage, but again, Eli Manning threw the ball more. I mean, he played in almost 100 more games, right? So my eyes saw what my eyes saw. I wish I could find the head-to-head matchups because Tony Romo outperformed him a lot of the times because I watched damn near all of those games. I'm sure I watched all of those Giants versus Cowboy games from pretty much when Tony Romo started, like 08 when he became the full-time starter. I mean,
so here's the thing, right? And this is what always muddies this argument. You can't take away Eli's Super Bowl rings, but if you could, it's Tony Romo.
What? Yo, so you're telling me the Super Bowl rings are the only thing that
the Super Bowl rings. The 2 chips makes it even an argument. If he didn't have the 2 chips, then you go Tony Romo hands down. But the 2 Super Bowl rings propels him into the argument. It brings them into the argument. You can't deny. We watched it.
I'm not talking about team success. I'm talking about Tony Romo as a quarterback and Eli Manning as a quarterback. Who is better?
I watched one man close his eyes and throw arguably the most clutch Super Bowl pass of all time.
Oh my!
And I watched one guy close his eyes, and every time he did, bad things happened. just legitimately, every time it was a big moment, something bad happened. He had the misfortune of having a lot of bad luck. Nothing ever bounced his way. At some point, something has to go your way. But if it was a blunder to be made, I mean, and why his stats are so good
and why everything
Better not.
it
What? Why was his
no
stats
no 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 but he was a good player, but then when it just came down to that one moment, it was like he's one of the worst finishers in the playoffs. Or
That is so unfair. That is so unfair, man. That is like so. So I'll give you a good example of why that's unfair. I'll give you a good example of why that's unfair.
okay,
I forget the year. I want to say it was 2014, I believe. Dallas versus Denver in Dallas. Peyton Manning and Tony Romo are freaking balling, and both defenses were playing terrible, but Dallas never forced them. They didn't punt at all, right? And Tony Romo threw for 500 something yards. I mean, Peyton Manning threw for like 380 or whatever, and the Cowboys lost by a field goal. Had they forced the Broncos to punt one time, just one time the entire game, they would have won that game. That's not Tony Romo's fault. It's not his fault. Yes, he threw an interception in that game. But
and that's what everybody, including myself and everybody that's listening and watching the show, will always remember. They'll never remember that the defense stunk it up and Peyton Manning picked them apart and Tony Romo went toe-to-toe with him. They'll just remember they'll just remember the interception that he threw to end the game.
No, it wasn't an interception to throw into the game. I didn't say it was an interception to throw the game. Don't put that on no.
But it ended up putting the nail in the coffin in that game. Him throwing that interception.
No, they let of all people, they let Peyton Manning walk into he had a rushing touchdown. Scott, this is crazy. Peyton Manning, who I can walk faster than Peyton Manning can run in his prime. Yo, you know what? Man. At the end of the day, I don't even know how we were talking about Ohtani, but at the end of the day, Eli Manning is not a better quarterback than Tony Romo. People are gonna be mad at me. They're gonna say I'm a homer, but if you're gonna take away the bias and look at the way they played, Eli Manning is not a better quarterback. Eli Manning is the epitome of mediocre. He was 117 and 117 as a starting quarterback.
So you know what will end this argument? It's going to be interesting. No. It's going to be interesting to see which one goes in the Hall of Fame first.
Oh, Eli Manning. He's a Manning.
And how time is treats Tony Romo.
Well, it's gonna help that he's so good at broadcasting. So
that's gonna help big time.
Yeah,
it's gonna help. I think that's what's going to propel him into the Hall of Fame is his broadcasting career.
All right, so before we get out of here, is Ohtani better than Babe Ruth?
No. No.
Well, time will tell.
Time will tell, but let's not be prisoners of the moment. I mean, Babe Ruth is
it's a hell of a moment, Scott.
It's a hell of a moment, but Babe Ruth is he's a top 5 player of all time. Ohtani still, his story is still being written.
Yeah, he's still a baby. So, all right, man. So we're about to get out of here, man. Again, follow us on all socials. On Twitter is at the OTR show. I'm sorry, the OTR brand. Facebook is Off the Record. You're probably watching on Facebook anyway. YouTube is youtube.com/c/Off the Record show. Follow Scott at Scott Q. Smith. That's it. Follow me at Vipers31. But I think time's up, man. Time's up. We got 20 seconds. We got 20 seconds, Scott.
So I got a question. When's the next battle?
This Sunday. Championship.
When's the draft?
I think I saw something
Monday
about that.
Monday, and I think Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm paid in there. I had to get on the payment plan, yo, because these fantasy leagues, man, they come up. I was like, yo, I gotta spread this stuff out so it don't hit me at one time.
I know, man. But yeah, man. So let's get up out of here, man. This is Off the Record. I am Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
Yup.
Peace.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.